Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? Can I ask you to be upstanding and please welcome for the first time, Mr. and Mrs. Stocks.
Go straight into food now.
Yeah, you can all sit down now. And believe me, you will need to sit down because the first speech of the evening is the father of the bride. Please welcome Dave Ellaby.
Say yes to them.
Actually, just a few more moments, please. I've prepared a speech. It's probably not as long as it appears, pages-wise, because obviously the print nowadays is very large. I was desperately hoping that the lighting here would be sufficient that I didn't have to put a pair of glasses on. But I'm totally blown away today. It's, you know, I've got the Queen on my left. All right. And I know how much hard work Sarah has done to be here so that her grandmother could be here as well. All right. Yeah. And so for that, I've not forgotten the fact that Hull FC are playing today. And I should be at somewhere else, but... And if anyone else is planning on going, please, you're not. Because if I have to stay, then so do you. If you don't know me, I am actually Sarah's dad. All right. I've been called lots of things in my lifetime. Some are pleasant, some are not. Some are nice, some are not so nice. Some you could repeat and some you can't. But I have been called things like dad, granddad, uncle, teach. Some of you won't even know that one, which obviously comes back for the fact I was a teacher. And occasionally I've had an extension on dad, which is actually, Dad, can I borrow? Or Dad, can I lend? Now, there's a subtle difference. There's one that you know you'll get back, and there's one that you know you won't get back. So I'll leave you, Sarah. You can tell them, if you ever want to tell them, which one it is.
When you get paid back.
No, fine. However, obviously, one of the main parts of my job is to welcome everybody on behalf of all of these people that's on this side. I think the work that's gone on behind the scene is just unreal. All right. And on that note, you've got to remember you've got one side of the family and the other side of the family, but together, all right, it is the joining of two loving families. And on that note, I'd like to have one of the first. Let's have a drink. I've now acquired a new name, and that name is actually, for the first time, the only time, I only have one daughter. I am now today, and only for today, the father of the bride. And for that, Sarah, I love you to bits. But obviously I have to make a special welcome to, I've already addressed the Queen. The rest has to go as the entourage. But the second one, as I say,
we're on page 2.
We're on page 2 now. All right. There's lots of things that's happened. I'm more than honoured, I'm more than privileged to be in this position. But I have realised that time has changed so much. I was expecting to come here and we'd be the first here. Everybody would march past us. They would shake hands. Hello, how are you? And everybody would sit down. We would come in, and then I would start. I didn't realise I had to get half cut. All right, before the event. All right, and I will say, yes, I'm half cut and not totally cut. So if anyone wants to buy me a drink, don't worry. David, you're number one. All right. I've realised, obviously, that things change in life. And I suppose one of the biggest changes in our life has got to be the internet. And yes, the internet has helped me somewhat. There was a day when you'd have to put things down on paper, write it, change it, this, that and the other. But you can copy, paste, you can do all this. But you still have to do a little bit of delivery, all right? But I've realised the advantages and the power of the internet. But I say to Danny and Sarah, this is toast 2, by the way, embrace the changes of lifetime, because believe me, they will change. What those changes will be, I don't know. I look around and I think there's some who are in the same lifetime as me, and there are some who are not. They are the younger ones. Page 3. I suppose really I ought to say something about Sarah. At the start, the day she was born, I can remember the nurse coming through. I mean, obviously, Linda was laid there. She was taking pictures. They went onto the newspaper or Facebook or whatever, and she had makeup on. Fine, no problem. However, this nurse came up with this little bundle wrapped up in a towel and said to me, "Dad, I have to say, she really looks like you." I said, "Thank you, nurse, but she is upside down." And I suppose, yeah, that's probably one of my other names. Who shouted earlier? Because you should have shouted then. All right. But Sarah, to this day, when you were born, you were beautiful. Throughout your childhood, you were beautiful. Throughout your teenage years, you were beautiful. Throughout your motherhood, you were beautiful. And today, as a wife, you are still beautiful. Now, you think that she is a bed of roses. But she was talented, she was determined, but she liked to do things in a slightly different way. Who said that? Because they obviously know it. All right. Yes, she was sporty. I have to obviously give you a little bit of history. To be fair, yes, she was a little bit more than sporty. She was talented. All right. She was talented at trampolining, but before that was gymnastics. And I can still remember her tumbling across the floor as a 6-7-year-old, thinking, how the hell do you do that? All right. I know it's a bouncy floor, but she did it. And then, of course, myself, we know we had to do a lot of travelling, up, down, across, round the country, all right, because she was successful at it, all right. And from it, though, more than anything, and I think we both agree with this, the experience that she gained from that, for being part of a team, for being an individual, for understanding pressure, all right, she succeeded. All right, she got to a level where she felt as though maybe she couldn't perform to the next level. And I remember biting her nails, all right, but she did well, all right. But her determination has put us to the test a few times. And for this, I have to bring in Philip. Where's he gone? Hello, Philip. Apparently, you look like me. Okay. However, so when you look, as the vicar said, when you look in that mirror, who will you see? Cheers, Phil. On that note, I'll have a toast on that one as well. Sons and fathers. But there was a time when they were little, and of course Philip is a little bit older, not much than Sarah, and we could put him in the bedroom. All right.
Yeah.
He would go into his bedroom and he would play with his toys, and he would be more than happy. He'd talk to them. Closed door. He's gone there because he's been naughty, he's been mangy. He's totally, get in. Yeah, he did. And he went in. And then we'd have to go back and see if he was all right. Please come down. Please come down and be with us. Sarah, bit different. Bit different. I can always remember, as it happened a few times, similar situation. Sarah, upstairs, bedroom, door closed. All right. And as I'm walking down the stairs, and a number of people have walked down the stairs at the house, all right, and she was at the house bedroom at the front. No sooner as I'd gone round that little corner, the door had opened and she was following me. She was challenging at times, but we loved her to bits. I've moved on a little bit now. Normally, at this point, I should be telling Danny a few things about Sarah's to warn him. It's all right. However, I think since they've lived together for a few years, I think he's already learned. But I'm still going to say him anyway. He went into the relationship and he said to himself, look, I'm here, I'm the boss man. I will do this, I will do that. And off he set. And as Danny does, he jumps into something. It don't get quite finished, or if it gets finished in his eyes, it's wrong. And eventually he decided, no, there's only one boss in this house, and it's Sarah. All right. And out of that, he's also learned that two words at the end of any conversation, argument, or whatever, he's now learned to say, yes, love. Yes, darling. He has moved on. All right. Again, going on, she's not always had the easiest time in her adult life. Okay. There's been lots of things which behind the scenes that she's had to struggle with. All right. But she's always strived for the best. Yeah. Look at me. The best. And one of those bests is to have a home. Sarah is one of these who likes the little add-ons. Everything has to be a little add-on to show love, to show happiness, to show I care. All right. And I went to the house today, and one of the things I noticed was the fact that everybody had a glass, and the glass had a name on of the person who it was, and it was aimed for. She's now got to that situation where I honestly believe she's now got a house which is a home. There's 4 of them now, and together genuinely believe the home has been created. All right. Not to bleat too much about your daughter, but there must be a number of people here who've gone to university, because I know a few have, and she's got a degree. But Sarah didn't do 1 degree, she did 2. She did the first one in Liverpool. Okay. And there are a number of girls here, all right, who between them made it a playground and a penthouse of partying. All right. And the friendship has gone on and is still here today. All right. and it will be there forever. All right. It will absolutely be there forever. But then she goes to Belfast, and Belfast created something which was a little bit different, which was along the lines of, hey, life is kicking me in the teeth a little bit sometimes. I've got to get through it, and she has one of the biggest bedrocks of all, which is June. All right. And believe me, they're not just rocks, they are partners of the let's have a drink and we'll have more than a drink and a few more drinks. But the one I really want to compliment is Simon. Because Simon doesn't have to deal with just June.
Which is hard enough.
And it's all right, but he has to deal with what June wants to do with Sarah, and then what Sarah wants to do with June.
Yeah, true.
But that guy has been a legend. All right. So she went to Queen's University, and in my naivety, I thought it was Queen's College London. All right, and I didn't realise it was going to be Belfast. But she's gone there, and what I've learnt over time, for the course that she was doing, which was mental health nursing, all right, it only took the best, but she proved herself to be one of the best. All right. Now, I'm nearly there. But I've got to say something about Danny. Because Danny and Sarah have been together for I don't know how many years. I tried to find out, but I couldn't. Because there's things that have happened maybe before, afterward. So I'll just go along with a number of years. But he's done a truly amazing job with Nathan. All right. And that will continue with Georgia. Nathan adores Danny. All right. He absolutely adores him. But I do have to say, even though there's an age gap between 1, 2 and 3, you are geeks. Because well, if you ever listen to them talking about games, computer games, DVDs, I used to call them videos, now DVDs, then you just don't understand them. Now, I'm going to ask you individually, do you understand what them two are talking about at times? He would never admit, no. Oh, just have a drink, you're all right. Oh, thank you. Oh, that was the biggest risk I had of today, what they might say. But Danny, you're a great guy, and you've got a great heart.
Yes.
We'll have another talk on that one. But I was talking the other day between 1, 2, 3, 4, all right, ish, and we decided how immensely proud we were of our children and what is our grandchildren, all right. And so to Nikki and Philip, all right, you're doing an absolutely fabulous job with the 3 JDs. But I tell you what, I seriously do wonder what will happen in the post when they obviously start getting credit cards coming through. And it's to JD Ellaby. Which one? That's one thing to solve out. And where's Natalie? Where is she? And to Natalie, well, now that these two want to go into the limelight, all right, you seriously now have to look after him as regards the business. Good luck. All right. And to end it all, what I'd like to say, if you would all be upstanding for this one, if you're able, Right. So the bride and groom, Mr. and Mrs. Stocks.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next person to the floor is the person who I think actually knows Sarah one of the best. She lived with her for a couple of years at university. Danny really should have spent some more time with her before he signed up for this job. Can I please welcome Kat?
Okay. I'll try not to. Okay, so good afternoon to all Sarah's family and friends. To those that don't know me, I'm Kat, and I've been told by Sarah that if I do a really good job with this today, I can do it again at her next wedding. So, welcome to the festival, everybody. I've got my VIP invite ticket here. And although I'm still not really sure what I get for that, I must make it really clear at this point, I don't want a backstage pass to the headlining act later. So if you're all wondering what my role may have been, I'm the one who's helped with some decisions, some shoes, outfits, some makeup, some hair, some tantrums along the way, some tears, and in the end, I put my foot down and I just said, Danny, mate, you look beautiful as you are. Sorry, I need my drink. So, but on a serious note, I think it's only right to say at this point that Sarah, you look absolutely stunning today, and I think you'll all agree. So far, this is the most sophisticated festival I think I've ever been to. There's no portaloos, there's no one off the faces on drugs, but we must remember we're in Hull and the night is young. So, I met Sarah 15 years ago, would you believe it, in the Hogshead pub in Liverpool. And only a fraction of the things I know about Sarah I can actually say today. So Sarah, you can stop sweating. I won't tell them the story about when we were out in Magaluf that night. No, really, honestly, I'll keep it. Don't worry, don't sweat. So, we met when we were both skint, students, not really that bothered about our studies and more interested in going out. Watching Friends for days on end and being absolute bums. And at this point, I must point out that Sarah's accent was as Hull as they could. Ordering a Kirk at McDonald's drive-thru so unsuccessfully that after 5 or 6 attempts at ordering, Sarah just asked for a Pepsi. When I look back on it, I can't believe my luck in meeting a friend like Sarah. The only other person I've met in my entire life who could literally not leave the house for days just to watch telly, eat takeaway and make up silly games and just spend days in our bedrooms giggling away. Even at the Hogshead, the pub, my memories of Sarah are very comical. Shotting cordial, straight cordial, timing ourselves with ice cubes under our armpits, and sellotaping Sarah's hands and feet and leaving her for dead in the back of the bar. Jimmy, put me in the bin! I know. Sarah was always up for a laugh. If there was a night out, despite funds, Sarah would make it happen. Whilst we had very similar finances, somehow Sarah had a car, a mobile phone contract where we were all pay as you go, always said yes to a night out, and always could afford a McDonald's the day after. At this point in time, Sarah began to take on bits of the Liverpool accent. and her cook would suddenly be proper boss. When I think about some of Sarah's funny moments, I can remember her desperation in placing her uni books on her head in hope that the knowledge would actually sink in. Sorry, Sarah, but Sarah's dizziness didn't end here. As a friendship group, Sarah soon became the daftest one. On holiday with the girls, Sarah decided to cook a pizza. Food being Sarah's main priority most of the time. In confusion, me and Lucia looked on and observed. Sarah's response was, "What are you looking at me for? You don't close the oven door when you cook a pizza, do you?" We looked on in despair. Sarah's cooking got seriously no better, but only worse when after a night out, and at least an hour of trying to figure out how to use the oven in our Spanish apartment, Sarah attempted cooking a pizza in a wok. Rarely did anything edible come out of the kitchen where Sarah was concerned. Another quality that stands out, and Sarah's dad's mentioned this today, is her serious competitiveness, which I believe she got from trampolining. Anything can be made a competition, and Sarah is all in. This proved very, very beneficial for all of her friends, mostly me when we moved in together. Often I would time Sarah to change the TV channel, make a brew, go to the shop, and she rose to the challenge every time in the hope of glory. But Sarah's competitive streak hasn't always been of benefit to her. In Greece, she ran around the original Olympic running track that was for viewing only through tourist bars because me and Lucia had dared her to. She could literally have been shot. I did get warnings. Yeah. Sarah also thought it was a great idea to play chicken in the road in Spain after one or too many gins. For anyone who doesn't know what chicken is, it's a deathly game of running towards oncoming traffic to see who stops first. Clearly, Sarah's still here, so she had her victory again. As I said, Sarah, you did become the dizzy one of the group, often being ribbed by the boys and a massive source of comedy. However, we've all massively underestimated Sarah's potential over the years. One day, out the blue, whilst helping Lindsay with her maths exams, we all took part in testing our own maths skills. To everyone's surprise, it was Sarah answering every equation within seconds, whilst we looked on in complete amazement. Who is this girl who had suddenly transformed into the Rain Man? But it didn't end here for the surprises of Sarah's capabilities. Not only did she complete 1 degree in Liverpool, but then had a child on her own in Belfast, completed another degree, but started a new life in a new country all on her own. Sarah may be dizzy, silly, pause myself. Sarah may be dizzy, silly and daft, but the things she has achieved are nothing short of amazing. However, with Belfast came another accent. Northern Irish nonetheless. So not only has she whole Scouse, but Northern Irish too, she's now going out with a Brummie lad. When Sarah goes to McDonald's drive-thru now, they just force her to come in and point to the menu. Now, the hen do has to come up at some point today, of course, but what happens on the hen do clearly stays on the hen do. Apparently these are the rules. So, what I can tell you is that a true testament to Sarah is that 10 girls together for 3 days didn't fall out and actually got on really, really well. There were many stories shared on the hen do about the bride, and the hens. And the response to these stories went something little like this. Are you ready, girls? Shame! 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 We'll do that one again later as well, girls. So, Danny met Sarah in the same place that I did, the Hogshead pub, the pub that had become like Cheers, where all Sarah's uni mates became like family. Danny became part of the fabric of the Hogshead days, but little did we know that a university fling would turn out quite like this. I must take some credit here. It was my idea to call a Hogshead reunion where Sarah and Danny saw each other after years apart and spent the whole night snogging on the dance floor. You're welcome, guys. So, I never doubted Danny's intentions towards my best friend, or questioned his lovely, generous personality. I always just worried a little bit that he wouldn't be able to manage her addiction to shopping and her tendency to always be right. However, I quickly knew Danny was definitely the one. And a moment that stands out above everything was seeing his house in Birmingham for the first time and a bedroom decorated in Angry Birds from head to toe just for when Nathan finally stayed over. The way Danny spoke about Nathan and the way Nathan thought Danny was the bestest friend he'd ever had absolutely melted me. Danny's generosity has sometimes gone beyond the call of duty, and for this I blame Sarah. On a night out in Belfast with Sarah, Danny got the beers in, he even ordered our taxi home, and he wasn't even in the country.
Oh, Blade.
Danny, Sarah will boss you about. She will make you carry her shopping, spend your money, and you'll never ever win an argument. However, you may have noticed that Sarah also does not give her heart away easily. But when she does, as with her friends, once things click into place, Sarah is the most loyal, invested, most fun person you could possibly ever have in your life. So can everyone please raise a glass to the happy couple, Sarah and Danny.
Next to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, after one of the most moving speeches I've heard for a long time, I'm going to welcome the superstar of the show, the person I've been most looking forward to hear speak today, Mr. Nathan Cummins, and with his glamorous assistant, June Williams. Thank you.
Come on, boys, show them.
It's okay. Do you want to do it? Do you want me to? Yeah. Well, as you can imagine, it would be very, very nerve-wracking for one of the big lads to make a speech in front of you all. So, what we decided to do a few weeks ago, we hemmed and had. I'll try and speak slow and keep sorry. What we did was...
Carry on.
I'll translate it into English after. We sat down a few weeks ago when Mummy went out, and we decided that we were going to write you a wee poem. So this is from Nathan and Georgia. So I'm reading it. I'm not calling you Mummy. All that. Okay. So we wanted to write you a poem for your wedding day, just to tell you that we love you in every single way. You look so beautiful, Mummy. You scrub up really well. And Danny, as for you, your farts really smell.
Nathan. Oh.
Maybe only kidding, Danny. You know I love you too. You always have time to play with me, and that makes you pretty cool. Danny, you make Mummy happy when you don't get on her nerves. And don't you think that I forgot about the time I scared you on the stairs? On your wedding day, I want to give you a bit of advice. Buy me all the toys I want and you'll have a happy life. I have one last thing to say before I go and eat. I am really glad that the both of you did meet. All I want is happiness for the four of us in life. So here's to you, my Danny, and your beautiful new wife. And he wanted to finish it with, and no matter what, we will be together forever. Nathan's just decided that he would like to say something.
I want to play a song.
Oh. Are we singing?
No.
Auntie Sue will sing.
I wonder where that's come from. Whatever will be, will be.
You tell me when you're ready.
Yeah.
Is this the one you made?
No. It's called Mirror Night.
Oh, he's actually going to play it on the Switch.
Now you're playing it.
So Nathan's playing this
Yeah,
on his
this
Switch.
is.
He can press the buttons and make the piano come up. So
It's a matter.
I feel like we should all have a wave. Let's go. Let's have it, folks. Come on. We're in it. We're invested. Let's do it. Anybody got any lighters?
Very end
We're a third of the way through.
Never.
Are we gonna stop at 50% after this course?
Very well done.
Good fella.
Hello, Josh. What a start.
Wow. After an all-time record score, I'm not sure how the best men are going to follow this, so please welcome to the floor Adam and Pete.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for all making it to sunny Hull, which is a good thing. To celebrate the pairing of two great friends, Danny and Sarah. I'm Pete, and this is Adam. And when Danny asked us to be his best men, we were absolutely chuffed. But then he broke the news a bit later that we weren't his best man at all. And Nathan was actually his best and main man, which we all know now. So big cheer to Nathan. So as assistants to the best man, we're going to say a few words about Danny Stocks, because I think he's got away with it a little bit lightly so far, if I'm honest. And one or two about Sarah as well. We don't get away with that easily. So, over to you, Adam.
So every silver lining has a cloud, and here we are. This speech won't be full of compliments, my friends, I'm afraid, because it's obvious to all of us that your head is big enough. As you can all see, Pete and I tried very hard today to do our best to make sure that Danny looked good and respectable. Combing that head of hair is more of a 4-person job. I met Danny on my first day in halls at Liverpool University. We shared a flat and I was in the room next to Danny, so it goes without saying that I know Danny better than I wanted to. I went to uni in the hope of meeting someone new, interesting, sophisticated and some intelligent people. How naive and innocent I was. Our flat consisted of the two of us, a Welshman, Paul, wherever he was. And that's him, yeah. And a 24-year-old repeating first year of university for the 3rd time. Needless to say, there was the odd one out, and Danny and him never got on. Danny was messy, and this guy was like having your mother live with you, repeatedly asking you to clean up. Danny took his own revenge by printing off a 7-foot poster of our flatmate in drag with his phone number underneath and displaying it in the entrance to the halls of residence. And then thumbnailing pictures on every object in the communal areas, every bottle of beer and every sheet of toilet paper. And that was 3 days of university that Danny doesn't regret missing. Mine and Danny's first night in Liverpool was one of bonding, drinking and sharing our stories. 7 hours later, Danny finally took a breath, which allowed me a window of opportunity to tell him my name. By the end of the evening, we were being accosted by the local law enforcement for stealing beer kegs to use as novelty bedside tables.
I met Danny on the first day of starting uni in Liverpool 16 years ago now. I'm pretty sure it was the only day I actually saw him in the university for the next 3 years, even though we took the same classes, which is testament to how seriously he took his drinking. And I do still respect that in you, Danny. I do. Although, it turns out a lot of that time was spent printing pictures of your flatmate in drag and sticking them on toilet rolls. So I didn't know you were up to that, but who does that? Don't know. Clearly, money well spent on this one, Brian. Don't know how much it cost you, but it wasn't worth it. Anyway, I remember him looking lost in the halls that day and asked if he was on the same course, hoping to find a mate and someone to sit next to, basically. It turns out he was, and I very quickly found out that befriending this bloke wasn't the best idea that I've ever had. He was never there, he made me late, he copied my work, and he even got me to do his coursework for him, which he got a better mark for and did better than me in that year. So yeah, looking back at that first year when I was 18 and you were a couple of years older than me, I do wonder whether I was the victim of bullying to you. Over to you, Adam, while I convince myself he's a good mate. Again.
Danny has done many questionable things since I've known him. He's fallen down staircases, he's knocked himself out, he's paid for extremely expensive haircuts from Tony and Guy, jumped off a cliff face whilst on his stag do and he landed horizontally to the water. These are just to mention a few examples. And only as I gather my thoughts for today, Danny, did it occur to me that there was one tangible link that explained all of these incidents: the size of your enormous head. Danny and I got up to lots of mischief both in halls and when we worked together in our weekend job at Edwards nightclub. We removed all the fuses from the girls' flat opposite, so that when they asked us to fix things, we looked like the big men. The same housemate decided that the ingredients he'd bought, he'd put into his new bread maker. That wasn't the best position for them, so we ended up having a huge flour and butter fight around the flat, which took us 2 days to clean up. And we also sneaked several drinks to our friends and ourselves to help us get through those long shifts of Scout's house, to name but a few.
So, as Danny clearly wasn't spending masses of time doing anything useful in Liverpool, I ended up getting him a job in the bar I'd started working in, the Hog's Head. A lot of Hog's Head people. Unbelievably, he went straight in as a shift manager on my recommendation. Assistant manager. I didn't tell them that he was sacked for serving an underage girl in a police sting attack at his last place, but it was fine. Anyway, the Stars clear. Oh yeah, he sacked him. Still mates, obviously. But I've lost my place. Anyway, the stars clearly aligned, as this is where he was to meet the mother of his first child. Unfortunately, she wasn't invited today. But young Danny Jr. sends his love from Liverpool. What am I saying? Joking aside, there is no young Danny Jr. Joking aside, for me and Danny in the Hogshead, those first days were a lot of fun as you guys got to know each other well. I remember being out one night after these two took advantage of the staff discount on a Monday. You probably all remember that. Monday Club. And they nailed the whole stock of rosé champagne in one night. That night ended up with Sarah pushing the lead singer of a local band on Matthew Street off of the stage and sang an entire song in his place to a packed out pub. Very impressive, Sarah. I was impressed with you that night. And the stage has been set up for you tonight as well. I think the lead singer's a wee guy, so you'll be right up. You'll be fine. They were definitely an ideal couple in my eyes from that moment. And I knew you wouldn't be wearing the trousers if you got with this girl, mate. Which I think we can all agree is right.
Yeah.
Danny is very much a family man, especially now he's got his own little clan. He can talk non-stop at the best of times, but I feel like I know Jean, Harry, if that is your real name, and Natalie, as well as I know my own family. Danny would talk about their dedication, their hard work, their association with the athletics for Great Britain, and how they all have sophisticated business acumen. I personally think you must be adopted, mate, because I'm yet to witness any of that from you. Danny, for somebody quite intelligent, goes about doing the simplest of things in the most confusing and awkward way, and usually ends up making a whole mess of it. Yet complicated, life-changing decisions and events that most of us would find difficult to navigate, such as today, he takes in his stride and marries a wonderful woman to top it all off. When Danny told me he'd rekindled his love with Sarah, I was overjoyed and a little depressed. I was overjoyed because my best friend had finally met a beautiful, sophisticated, intelligent and sensible woman who would keep him in check. But depressed because she too lived in Belfast and Danny would be still living next door to me.
As Adam says, Danny is an interesting chap. If watched from a distance, you see a happy-go-lucky kind of guy who puts his friends and his family first. All great qualities. But on closer inspection, you're a complete and scatty mess. You rush all over the place to get things sorted out, and this suit is a great example. This suit turned up last week, and honestly, I look like a little kid in this top suit. The arms were like down here. I looked a right state. But thanks to Jean, who sorted out a replacement suit. Well, I heard that Jean ran off because Danny missed a stag do. And tonsillitis. But I wonder how true that really was. Anyway. But yeah, and some alteration we got there in the end. No thanks to you, mate, but clearly, if you did something, thanks. You may also have noticed I didn't know what I was doing at the front today at the ceremony, and that's because Danny forgot to invite me to the rehearsal. So, thanks for that as well, as we sped up from London. Natalie will probably agree too. Apparently Jean found him one night sleepwalking, except not a lot of walking was happening, as he was urinating all over poor Natalie's.
Her bookcase, not Natalie.
Yeah. Her bookcase. Honestly, you can be a right mess, mate. But everything does seem to land into place for you very nicely. You've got a great house in Belfast, a lovely new wife in Sarah, and a perfect family with Georgia and Nathan. So keep doing what you're doing, mate. You'll be fine.
So, having drank with Danny, laughed at his inability to fit into a one-size-fits-all hat. Poked fun at his dyslexia by watching foreign films with the subtitles on. And indulged in too much fancy dress and body paint. I can truly say Danny is a top bloke. He's passionately loyal, he's very trustworthy, he's caring, he's generous, he's got such a kind heart and he's full of advice whether you ask for it or not. Sarah, on behalf of Pete and I, there is no doubt that one day Danny will eventually make you an extremely happy wife. We would like to welcome you all to stand and raise your glasses in celebrating our newly married couple to Sarah and Big Head.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard many wonderful things today about Sarah, which has led me to wonder if I'm at the right wedding. Joking aside, Sarah, you look absolutely sensational. I'm absolutely bursting with pride to be your brother. Wedding days are supposed to be the happiest days of the lives of the husband and the wife. Today is one of the happiest days of my life because now, Danny, she is your problem. She is a son. So I welcome you to the stage and please take your moment. Thank you.
First of all, thank you all for coming because I know being a Friday, people have had days of work, travelled a long way to get here. So what we do really appreciate having everyone here is important to me and Sarah, and it makes the day a lot better. The first people we want to thank are our parents. My mum and dad, Jean and Brian, or Harry as I call him. Long story. Thank you so much for everything you do for us, for me and my family. You've helped us get to this special day and supported us every day through the good and bad times. You've both worked so hard to give me and my sister such a good life, and it's set me on the right path for me and my future family. Well, for me and my family. And you are the best grandparents we can do. Just remember, my mum's on a drinking ban till 9:30. It's water, all right. Linda, you've been a rock for me and Sarah over the years, guided and supported us when we've needed it. You help us out in more ways than we could ever ask. You help us out all the time with Nath, and Nath worships you more than anyone I've ever seen. I've never seen a lad so happy to see his grandma. He bounces off the walls. Okay. First thing, Dave, thank you for letting me have Sarah's hand in marriage. You've always been needed there. You've always been there when we've needed you, with your ongoing support, and also for making our house a home to cherish and grow. With all the help you gave us when we first moved in, made me and Nathan, especially, and Sarah, just settle in, made it so much better for us all. Thank you for your speech. It was beautiful. And I definitely saw a tear from Sarah, which doesn't happen very often, so you did a good job. And last but not least, I want to thank Nana. We're really happy that we're so happy you could join us at the top table. We all know you're the boss of the family. Yeah, and Sarah mentioned that you and Aunt Marion used to like a certain drink back in the day, so we've both ordered a couple of Swift halves of diesel to get the night started. Sarah just told me to say snake bite if no one knows what diesel is. If you're from down south a little bit. Nath, my best man. Thank you for being my best mate and keeping me and your mum entertained on a daily basis. You always make us laugh. You are the world's best big brother to Georgia, and Georgia likes you every time you walk into the room. Thank you for being next to me today and doing an amazing job at the church. And it's nice to now officially call you my stepson.
To the main man.
And as a thank you, I just need to open this because I've sealed it. As a thank you, I got you a little voucher. It's for a Switch game you've been after, which I think is released today or tomorrow. But we will sort it out before we go away. Just a quick word about Georgia. Georgia, you are the only thing that's been missing in my life. You make me feel complete and make me so proud to be your dad. Yeah. Hey! To my assistant best men, if that's what you can be classed as, thank you for helping Nathan today and making sure everything went well. Also, thank you for the stag that was planned. It was a good couple of days from what I can remember, but will be a whip round later because we all want to buy a boat. So, cheers lads for a funny couple of days, but the speech was all lies, so don't listen to him. To the 3 bridesmaids, 2 of you look stunning today in your dresses. The other one, my sister, I didn't recognise you in a dress, so it was quite nice to see you in it.
Stunning!
But thank you for being there. But thank you for being there with Sarah and making sure she's turned up time, because that is a miracle, as a lot of you know. I just want to make a quick mention to the Maid of Honour June. These last couple of years, you have helped me and Sarah more than we could ever ask. You jumped through many hoops for us, and you have been a surrogate parent to Georgia. When I'm surrogate parent to Georgia when I'm not there, going to many hospital and doctor's appointments. Me and Sarah can't thank you enough for all the help and support you give us over in Belfast. It means more than you'd ever believe. And then just a quick mention to the three girls from Liverpool. Thank you for being you and going to Prague with Sarah. All she ever wanted was to have all her friends together, and she came back with the biggest smile on her face, and it was what she needed at the time, with the stress of the wedding and George and everything going on. Having you three and all the girls from Hull together was all she ever needed. So it was perfect few days for her. Last but not least, I want to thank my Auntie Chris, who sorted out my cake for me. It became a bit of a bigger project than it was, and I got many pictures of the 9 cakes she ended up making to make the cake. But if anyone needs a cake, go and see her and I'll get a finder's fee. And now, last but not least, to my wife, Sarah. Firstly, can we raise a glass to Sarah for all the amazing work she has done to make this day what it is? She spent many hours. Hold on a second, before put them down a sec, hold on. Don't get carried away. She spent many hours long either sticking, cutting, making lists and guiding me about on what's needed. She's made extra special with all the little touches, so I'm really proud of her. But before we raise a glass, we do need to thank me. I made the really important decisions, the fact that you've got green and brown bits around your chairs and little bits of string on the buttonholes, so can we raise a glass to me? Oh, I'm Sarah. Sarah looked absolutely amazing in her dress, and she made my heart skip a beat when she came down the aisle today. The good thing about this is I now can watch a certain programme say yes to the dress without having to worry about what I can say, because every time I watch it I say that's bad, she goes, oh Danny, don't say that. Also, I'm going to just say, you two, you just ruined half my speech, so I just got anything. I first met Sarah in Liverpool about 15 years ago in the Hogs Head, when one of my best men, Pete, Pete found a job there because he got sacked for stealing a brownie from Edwards. So thank you for nicking the brownie. Panini. Oh, Panini. Sarah doesn't actually remember working. Sarah doesn't actually remember working with me. I made that much of a impression on her back in the day, but she certainly made an impression on me because I will never forget that bum of hers. After leaving the Hogshead and me being a bit of an idiot, we didn't speak for quite a few years, but we did sort of keep in contact. We met up again at a reunion organised by Kat and themselves. On that evening, after a bit of gentle persuasion from Kat, we got talking again and realised we still got on really well. She decided to come over England one weekend, and after a bit of convincing on my side, we ended up together, and it's been a fabulous 6 years. Sarah's been an amazing girlfriend, and I'm sure she'll be an even better wife. She's helped me grow and become a better, happier man that I am today. She's the best. She is the best mother in the world to the children. She has Nathan, who's a credit to us all, and now has our little lady Georgia, who's an absolute star, and most of it's down to Sarah anyway. So she holds us all together when I'm not there. She keeps everything working, and even though she perhaps is not the most romantic, I know she loves me. By the way, when I come home, she changes the sheets. And it's either because she's romantic or there's been another man in the bed, so I don't know which one that is. All I can say is I'm looking forward to spending the rest of my life and experiencing new things with her and my family. Sarah, I love you more than you will believe. I still get butterflies every time I come home, even if you are starfished and drooling all over the bed. Thank you for taking my hand in marriage, and thank you for everyone sitting through all the speeches. Let's get some food.